And we are going live. Hey HealMyTech and welcome. This is Ash from HealMyTech, helping you go from newbie to techie. So what we're going to do today is have a discussion and give you kind of a tutorial on antivirus and protection for your computer, a Windows-based computer generally. So do you need to buy antivirus software? And how do you protect your computer if you're not getting antivirus, or at least you're not buying antivirus? Could you use used ones? Could you use free ones? Sorry. So if you're thinking about buying antivirus software, you may be wondering which one is the best out there. And you may also be wondering how good are the free versions if you wanted not to spend any money on that. But the truth is that antivirus is only one aspect of computer protection. You actually need to implement various levels of security on your computer. In other words, it's called good administration. Okay, so today we're going to cover those various levels of defense that you need to have in place for extra peace of mind. All right, so I'm just going to check my stream right now because it might be messed up. Do we have anyone on? If you are, just leave me a little hello. Okay, I hope we're public. We're public. Okay, should be fine. Okay, so the first disclaimer is that I have actually based this tutorial on someone you probably know from the internet, Eli the Computer Guy. He did a lot of computer stuff, internet security, a lot of software tutorials before there was some issue about him and YouTube. I'm not too sure what he's doing currently. I'm told he's not on YouTube anymore and he's doing his own thing, but I've seen some videos on his channel, so I'm not sure. If anyone knows what Eli the Computer Guy is doing these days, drop me a comment in the comment section below, or just write it down in the chat here. Okay, right. So the first disclaimer I'm going to give is that I am not a security expert by any stretch of the imagination. There are people who have far better qualifications than myself, and everything I'm going to tell you today is more things which I do, and having learned from people like Eli the Computer Guy and other tech YouTubers, and also having experienced them myself, having implemented them on my own systems, and having implemented them on my clients' systems. Okay, so do take what I'm going to say to you with a grain of salt. If you want to do the same things which I do, then by all means consult a professional before you implement them, because I don't want to be responsible for any breach of your security. All right, so having said that, let's move on. This is going to be relevant for Windows-based PC, obviously. With Linux and Mac, allegedly there is a lot of security implementation there already, because most of the viruses and the threats that are written, that are coded, are done for Windows, because Windows is the bad boy. Welcome Bungibaz Londi, and I can't spell your other name. How can you fix 100% disk usage? It depends, because there's a lot of reasons why your disk is at 100%. It could be hardware, it could be software. If you're using Windows 10, then there is a lot of background processes happening which you need to get rid of, like the background intelligence scanner, the constant Windows search, etc. But it could also be virus problems. It could also be a problem with your disk. Maybe your disk is actually dying. Now, the thing is, you can't actually tell. You have to do some tests to eliminate the possibilities, okay? But today's video is not about 100% disk usage. We're going to be talking about antivirus and security and general protection, okay? All right. So, yeah, we talked about Linux and Mac. So if you want extra peace of mind, no matter how you feel about a Linux system or Mac system, they are better in security. There are viruses, I'm told, on Linux and Mac, but they are very few. Personally, I haven't had any experiences to deal with viruses on Linux and Mac systems, so I can't really give you information on that. But Windows, I mean, it's ripe with virus, okay? But it's gotten better over the years. I mean, the XP era and prior to that, it was awful. Okay, so now let's move on. protection. No protection, whether paid or free, is 100% foolproof. Understand this. There are organizations, even tech organizations, with much tighter cyber security systems that get hacked. And I'm sure you follow the news, you know there's always breaches of confidentiality, data being thrown out into the public. So just understand this, there's nothing that's going to protect you 100%, okay? All you're doing is delaying a hacker or delaying viruses getting in and minimizing the damage. So don't think once you buy antivirus and you're done, that's it. No, it's not like that, okay? But, you know, thank God I haven't had any issue with what I do. Right. Now, also, the old adage, protection is better than cure always. Now, don't wait till late until you start considering, you know, protection like antivirus and other means of layers of protection. Sometimes there are some types of viruses which, when they get into your system files, it gets hidden so deep into the root files, it is impossible for any antivirus to detect them. When that happens, then it's a complete wipe and reload, and you're probably risking losing data as well. So just always be on your guard. Protection better than cure. I mean, that's an old adage, true for a lot of stuff. You know what I'm talking about? Okay. Right. Now, having said that, okay, there's some bad news about antivirus and Windows. Unfortunately, when it comes to Windows and any other software you're using, one of the first kind of patches, one of the first problems that you need to patch up is updates. You must update your operating system, you must update all your software, because when softwares don't get updated, starting with the OS, that's a security breach. This is where the attacks can come. Unfortunately for Windows 10, it's kind of controversial. It's bad news. Like, you know, Windows 10 updates is forced upon us and we don't have a choice sometimes. Unfortunately, if you want security, if you're using Windows 10, you need the updates. What we don't like are the forced updates at the times that we don't need the updates. That's the problem. But we do need the updates, unfortunately. Once again, there is Linux, there is Mac. You can consider those boys if you want. But if you're using Windows, you're going to have to update your system. And that's a bit of an issue. So do remember this, update all your software, okay? I mean, previously there used to be problems on software like Java, which probably most people don't use anymore. But Java represents a security threat. Adobe systems, all your Adobe software needs to be updated as well. And again, that brings us to another problem. Stupid Premiere Pro and Adobe suit constantly trying to get money from you with a subscription-based service. So a bit of a problem, but unfortunately, that's the reality. Okay. Other things which people tend to do, and they shouldn't, on a Windows PC or any PC, they are using the main administration account as the daily driver, which is a bad idea. What you need to do is you need to have an admin account completely separate, and then even for yourself, don't use the admin account as your daily driver. Instead, create user accounts for each person that's going to use the computer. Some of them, obviously, you give them permissions like add as a local user or guest or whatever, but don't. The reason is because if you are on an account with administrative privileges and there's a script like a hack, like a virus or whatever it is, and if that script is run, then it will run with administrative privileges and permissions, which means it can cause serious changes to your system, and that's an issue. So don't use your main account as your daily driver. Create, if you want to put your name as the admin, that's fine, but don't use the main admin account as your daily driver. Keep that for administrative issues, okay? Right, now once you've done that, make sure you also have very strong passwords, and that goes without saying, and it's kind of common sense, okay? And try to have passwords for each account. Now, I know it's a bit of a problem. Windows PCs, you can get tools which plug in USB and voila, you can change all the passwords and recover. It's a bit stupid. This is one of the problems with Windows. But still, remember we're talking about here about layers of security. So password, so admin account, password, okay? Right, Of course, check your firewalls. That usually with Windows by default, the firewalls are are there anyway. But the programs that you install will occasionally be blocked. So make sure you only allow those programs that you're sure that are secure. Okay, so check your firewalls all the time. Now this is a biggie. When you are going to download new software, especially software that you don't know about, but even those software which you know about, but you're downloading a free version, most of the time these software will come with bloatware. They will come with additional things which you're not too sure, or you don't even know that you're downloading and installing. And the recommendation is usually to always go for custom installation of any application. Don't go for express or recommended, okay? Because if a company is giving you something for free, then they need to get their money back somehow. And usually most companies, advertising is a big one, and they will be plugging in some software that you didn't ask for, but you are not, you're not really double thinking. So that's a problem I've seen in many people's computers where I've got my hands on them, and it was full of crap. And I used to ask them, they said, "Oh, I never downloaded this," but they didn't know, because it would come with other stuff, even with things like Adobe, probably like Reader. You get, I think, McAfee, which, by the way, personal preference, dislike. I hate McAfee with a passion. In my personal experience, I don't know about your experience, your mileage, but I've never found McAfee to be very successful in doing anything, so I tend to avoid it. So usually when you are installing Adobe Reader for the first time, it does come with McAfee, and I normally untick that, so please do check. Right, where we are, download software, we've done that. Okay, another biggie, torrents. Guys, don't use torrents. Point and simple. Point blank, don't use torrents. Now, torrents in and of itself, obviously, it's a file sharing system whereby you bypass the main server. Okay, I understand, but most people use torrents for illegal downloading of music or movies, and that's a big problem. When you're using torrents, you have to understand you're opening yourself to crap, sometimes both ways. Okay, torrents, probably every single client I've had that's had an infection problem, when I've looked at their computers, every single one of them had a torrent client, and they were downloading stuff. Right now, granted, there are some stuff that you can down legally. They have their use. Torrent is a necessary and an important tool to use sometimes, but when you're downloading, especially illegally, movies and music, there's problems. My sincere advice to you, don't use torrents. I used to tell my clients, if you use torrents, don't come to me, as in forget it, because there's nothing I can do for you. It's a complete wipe and reload. We can't do anything, and usually it was the case. All right. Okay. Right. Right. Other common sense things you shouldn't do. Stop going to dodgy websites. You know what I'm talking about? Those dodgy websites. Especially the free ones, the very popular ones sometimes, the free streaming services, those X-rated websites. I mean, those pop-ups. What do you think pop-ups happen? It's not just for advertising. They are bad news. If you are going to dodgy websites constantly, what do you expect? Okay, you can't go out in the battle and expect not to get hit. So don't use dodgy websites. It's common sense. All right. Okay, skip on. Okay, now in terms of installing your operating system for the first time or managing your filing system, I would sincerely advise you to install your operating system on one drive and then have your personal data on a completely different drive, if you can afford it. It's a problem usually for people with laptops, because there's usually one drive space, but then again, modern laptops, you've got the M.2 SATA. You can plug in an SSD and another drive, or if you want to reconfigure your laptop, if you have a DVD drive, take it out, you can actually get an adapter to put a second drive into it. But or even if you feel even more kind of ambitious, you could use an external drive as your main storage for all your personal data. The reason is because with viruses, if your system goes crash, then you have your personal data safe, and you can just reinstall Windows. Windows reinstallation is really easy these days. Okay, couple of clicks. The ISO is free from Microsoft website, so it's not a problem. Now, even better, right? If you have a desktop computer, that's my recommendation. So separate OS, separate storage for your personal data. Now, even better, backup, guys. Backup. Okay, 3 backup is standard procedure, and professionally, as in 1 local backup that stays with you on a different drive, 1 online backup, and 1 external, which is offsite backup. Okay, but at least 1 backup is a must. A lot of people don't do backup, so that's also part of being savvy, right? Okay, now in terms of your filing system, the OS being on 1 drive and the rest being on a different drive, please start organizing and naming your folders in a filing system which makes sense to you. Don't just thrush everything onto your desktop screen. I mean, that's ridiculous. It's like, you know, if you're disorganized, it's like opening your drawers or your cupboard, and all your clothes, all your papers is just thrust on there. Now, when you want to retrieve it, it's a big problem, right? So don't do that. Now, it might sound silly. You might ask me, what's it got to do with, you know, my filing system is crap, but what's it got to do with virus? Well, if your filing system is crap and you've got virus on top of that, those things will contribute to slowing your system down even further. And when you need to do an infection control, it's going to be a problem. But if you have your filing system sorted in an organized way, 1, it's easy for you to back up, it's easy for you to retrieve stuff, and you can a lot easier kind of you know, pull those data out and do a complete wipe and reload, and then you'll be off again to go. Not a problem. So it does help. So please start being organized. Okay. Now, what's the difference between a paid antivirus and a free antivirus version? Sabal Noor Francesco, how are you? Good to see you again. Yeah, okay. Paid and free version. Now, I'm not dissuading you to go buy antivirus. Please, if you want to go buy, that's up to you. Am I from Pakistan? No, I am not from Pakistan. Originally, I'm from Mauritius, but I live in UK. Right. Now, in my experience, the main difference between paid and free version is the fact that with a paid version, it kind of does things for you automatically, like the update and the scheduled cleaning. Also, some paid versions, they will include like a 3-in-1 version. You have the antivirus, you have the anti-spyware, you probably even have a cleaner, okay? But with the with a free version, what I've found is you probably have to do updates yourself occasionally, and you'll have to do the manual cleaning, kind of verifying checks. For some people, it is not a deal breaker, but for some others, I know they don't want to be bothered with it, they're just going to go and buy. That's up to you. All I'm saying to you is the last time I paid for antivirus was way before I knew about tech. It was in the XP, Windows XP era. I bought, like, I think it was Spy Doctor, whatever the heck it was, yeah, and I bought it for 1 year. I don't think it made a single difference. I was still having a lot of crap on my computer because of bad administration. But I have never bought antivirus since I started doing computer work, computer repair, and being on YouTube, and I've never given paid antivirus to any of my clients, and no one has complained so far. Not to say you shouldn't, just to say that I've got away with it because I use common sense. This is my practice, so I think it works for me. But hey, it's your choice. Right. Okay, and another thing about antivirus. What is the best antivirus? Is there one? No, I don't think there is one. Best is an overused term, especially on YouTube. Best movies of 2018. Best sport, you know, whatever. Best is so subjective. What makes it best is you have to do tests and give values to these tests. Best is rubbish. Now, best is what's best for you in your mileage, in your circumstances. One example for me, although a lot of websites and think what's it called, articles recommend probably Avast as the best free antivirus. Which I'm actually trying. I'm gonna just switch to my screen if it works. There you go. As you can see, probably Avast comes up sometimes as the first one. Where is it gone? Best antivirus. I'm gonna try to leave these links in the description below. Okay. Here, for example, they go Avast, the first one. I don't find it to be best for me. I've actually preferred to use AVG. In my situation, it's worked better than Avast most of the time. Okay. So what's best, really, I would say give it a try, give those links and read up on them and try a few of them, and then you have to find what works best for you, because sometimes I've put Avast and it didn't work, took it out, put AVG and it worked. Other times I don't know. Actually today, probably going to show you, I'm actually trying Avast right now, Avast free antivirus. I had AVG, but I thought let me give this a try, and it's still scanning in the background right now. Okay, so we'll see how that goes, and that's that for the antivirus. Now, there is antivirus and there is anti-spyware. You need both. I would not advise you to get something which has all-in-one. There's various reasons for this, but I would say get yourself something like Avast or AVG, and then get yourself an anti-spyware like Malwarebytes. Personally, I've been using Spybot, I think it's called Spybot. Yep, Spybot Search and Destroy. You can see it on the screen right now, and I think I am doing a scan at the moment. Am I? Yeah, it's scanning. Spybot has worked really well for me all these years. I've stuck with Spybot and I've stuck with AVG. Trying Avast today, we'll see how that goes. But these are not the only two ones, okay? But hey Ash, I hear you ask, what about Windows' own antivirus, which is called, I think, Bitdefender or Windows Bitdefender, whatever it is. By default, it is enabled when you install Windows, okay? And I have to say, compared to its previous, reiterations of their own security, it's much better. So you could use Windows' own built-in defense system, but you will need an anti-spyware on top of that. Okay, you have to read up. It's not as great as would like to think, or but it is better than nothing. Okay. Now, on top of that, what I would say is I also use something called CCleaner. I'm sure you know about CCleaner. Where is it? Right. CCleaner helps me, again, the free version. It helps me to keep all my stuff tidy. And right now, I can't give you demonstrations because it will close the browser. So usually, I go to cleaner and we do a run cleaner. You repeat the cleaning process until there is no more problems, and then you go to registry, and again you scan for issues, you fix selected issues, and you repeat it until there's no problem. And that's kind of what I do. So the combination of having a cleaner with an antivirus and with a anti-spyware is what has worked for me all this time. So that's what I would recommend you to do. Now, where is my OBS gone? Okay, are we still good? Right. Where are we now? So default, yeah, it's obviously clear. I've told you that my website default is okay, and I guess that's it. So basically that was it, guys. As a little summary, just to tell you that don't think of antivirus as the only thing you need to do to protect your computer. Use common sense. So protection, avoid dodgy websites, create administrator account and use a separate local account for yourself with strong password. Update all your OS and your software. Don't torrent as much as possible. Avoid dodgy streaming sites. When you download new applications, make sure you're using custom installation because you don't want bloatware that come with it. Avoid dodgy websites, we've said that. Keep all your personal data on a separate drive if you can, and backed up is really important. Keep an organized filing system, and you can use free antivirus and anti-spyware as long as you manually update them, but that's a personal choice. And also use something like a CCleaner. and try a few different antivirus and anti-spyware configuration. Oh, the last thing, one more thing I wanted to tell you, that some people say you shouldn't install 2 antiviruses onto one system or 2 anti-spyware. I do agree 50%, because sometimes one antivirus software will see the other as a threat and it will clash. But in our case, even sometimes they say don't have your antivirus running at the same time as your anti-spyware. When it comes to Avast or Spybot or Malwarebytes or AVG, I've not had any problems running them simultaneously. I think you can see right now I've got Spybot running and Avast running, not a problem. Also AVG is not a problem. So I haven't found that to be a problem personally. So, okay, that's really your choice. Now let's get our browser back. Probably can take some questions, but can you keep it to, please, today, you know, what we've discussed mainly. Let's have a look. Your guys Daniga, my PC did this a few days ago. I had to reset it. Oh, did you lose all your stuff, bro? Don't you think Windows Defender is all that regular? Like I said, Windows Defender, it's okay for basic stuff, but it depends on your usage. And I think if you're doing a bit more dodgy stuff, you probably need something more secure than just Windows Defender. On its own, I wouldn't say it's enough. Okay, don't take the risk. VIR is really Italian antivirus. Okay, cool. I'll give that a go. Thanks for that. Okay. So just asking, your laptop came with good antivirus. Which antivirus did you get? Panda. Okay, I've heard about Panda and Malwarebytes. Okay, fair enough. What about Cleaner? Do you also need to use Cleaner? Okay. I hope this was beneficial. We've done 26 minutes. We're gonna end it about 30 minutes, guys. Not too much. No, I saved my data somehow by switching drives. Yep, good idea. Always keep your data switched, saved. So guys, what do you think of Windows? Do you think it's how's it working out for you? Because I have got mixed feelings about Windows. I think it's an important system to have in our current world. There are good stuff about it, but my personal advice to most people is don't rely on one operating system for your daily driver. Have to choose Linux, choose Mac, choose, I don't know, Chrome OS or whatever. There's something else from Russia, I think it's a Russian OS. I want to keep trying that. Do I recommend Kaspersky? I don't want to recommend anything specific. I will tell you from my experience. You'll be surprised to find out there was Kaspersky, the paid version, on a relative's computer, and they had some issue with virus, and Kaspersky did not do the trick. I took it off. I put the free version of AVG, did a scan with Spybot, and we found a few different viruses, and that was, you know, that did the trick. I'm not saying Kaspersky is worse. I'm saying for that person, for their configuration, for their problems, for their specific database of virus, AVG worked better for them in that instance. So since then, they've stopped paying for antivirus. By the way, they're using AVG, which, by the way, they're asking me to kind of update it for them, and I need to go and do that. Ronit, yeah, this is the whole point of what we've discussed today. Free antivirus is good enough. I believe them to be good enough to a certain level, yes, and I've been using free antivirus, but you can rewatch the whole, hopefully, the whole video when it's uploaded. Okay, well, it's going to be uploaded in a few minutes after this. Bae says, I use Linux to save my failing drive. Windows wouldn't get past the blue screen of death. Linux, yes, baby, Linux. Do you know what? Linux have helped me save so many Windows problems. It's unbelievable. I'm so sad to know that still till today there's a lot of people that don't know about Linux and its power. But you know, hopefully we'll get there. Yeah, I agree with you. Okay, guys. I'm going to be ending it shortly here. We're just going to under 30 minutes. So thank you so much for tuning in. And I do apologize. This was not planned. You know, YouTube is forcing us to do 10 minutes videos. It's forcing us to do daily uploads. Well, not forcing per se, but they've set these standards so that if you don't, channel doesn't do very well, and my channel is not doing great at the moment. I do have a plan to revamp the whole thing, so hopefully we'll start that. So thank you so much for watching, and as usual, if you have any questions, leave them for me in the comment section below. Please try not to contact me on other platforms at the moment. I am not really active on YouTube. I will answer you hopefully, but my email, my social media, I don't do very good on there. So thank you so much for watching. As usual, you know what to do down below. Like, comment and subscribe, and also please use my affiliate links. It does help me out, very little, but starting to help me out. We're going to need funding going forward with our projects. So thank you, and I'm going to sign out now. So this was Ash from HealMyTech, helping you go from newbie to techie. Until next time, peace out. Stop.